Welcome back to another episode of Real Aussie Adventures. We are on our way to Mary Kathleen along, I think, what takes the cake for being the worst sealed road we have been across. This is so bad. There are potholes everywhere. At first when we jumped on this road, I was like, oh yeah, it's actually not that bad. And now I've turned along one of the roads and oh my Lord, there are potholes everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. My driving ability is very definitely being tested here for how on earth can I get over all these potholes? Anyway, we are at Mary Kathleen Township, which is an old abandoned town that was for uranium mining way back in the mid 1900s, which is very interesting. So we're going to check out the mine site and then have a gaze at the town centre before heading on eastward to Cloncurry. Let's go. To Mary Kathleen. But we made it. And this is the old uranium quarry. Perhaps if Liberal get their way in an election, it won't be so old. It'll be refurbished and renewed. Who knows? Well, we made it into the Mary Kathleen Township. This is it. This right here is it. It's really strange because there's curbing, proper roads, you know, concrete slabs where there would have been buildings. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And this is just a signpost of everything. Where I am standing right now used to be an old cafeteria. I'm assuming that would have been the kitchen and this would have been the mess hall where everyone ate their food. But it's actually crazy to think that I'm in the town centre of Mary Kathleen right now. It's honestly insane that the concrete slabs are still here, and I can honestly just feel the presence of this town even though it's not here anymore. Like, just imagining walking through this sort of mid 1900s town. Just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Actually, I'm not sure what that brown part there would have been, maybe a veranda, but that would have been the mess hall, and where I'm standing now, this would have been the kitchen, judging by the tiles and the old faucet holes and things where stoves and taps would have been. And just based off the size of this, because it had to accommodate for so many people. Also found out that this town used to have a milk bar. Like, oh my gosh, can we bring back milk bars? Because I reckon getting a milkshake at a milk bar, hanging out with your friends while playing arcade games, is the dream. Let's go back to those days. But yes, that I believe was the old library. There is also a swimming pool around here somewhere. Well, swimming pool. That was once the general store. Then this right here, very interesting shape. It's like a giant capital C, was once the library. I'm not sure if the two are connected, as in that slab and this slab are the same thing, but that was once the library. And then that one with the rise up there was the wet canteen. Wet cafeteria? Wet canteen. Not sure what that is. I don't know whether they still exist today. At least not in my world. I've never come across a wet canteen. Unless it's where they sell meat. Again, I don't know. That's not something that's in my vocabulary. So I'm not sure. Then you have the ANZ Bank. And finishing off with the post office around there. Quite a nice town centre, really, when you think about it. Over beyond those trees was the sports oval, where everyone did their sporting goods. And then you also have a pool behind that. I wonder if the old pool still stands. But right now, I am going to go for a walk up the hill because apparently there's a church up there. Probably just a concrete slab, but still, it'd be an interesting walk up there anyway. We have arrived at the Lord's house. You know, I'm curious as to whether if a church has been built on a place, and then that's claimed as, I guess, God's land, God's territory. If the church is then moved, like this one is here, is this still, I guess, holy land? Or does it just go back to being land? That's my interesting thought. I have parked on the sporting complex. That's the old sports oval, just down there. And we made it to the swimming pool, which is the very last thing that I wanted to find in this little township of Mary Kathleen. My vehicle parked at the sports complex. The swimming pool. Apparently it's supposed to be Olympic sized. Unless it's big, but I swear Olympians swim in bigger pools, longer pools. I swear that the pool at my school was bigger than this pool. Definitely wider, but I think longer as well. But I don't know. I'm in a swimming pool. So yeah, there's a hole though, so I'm going to go investigate said hole, see what's down there. Absolutely nothing but a bit of tin. But yeah, there's our swimming pool. I can safely say that I have visited Mary Kathleen Mine. Now we are on our way through to Cloncurry, which is probably where we'll set up camp for tonight. We have made it to possibly our sleeping spot for today. Assuming it's going to be our sleeping spot for today. But, present to you, Corella Lake, and the dam is all the way over there. Not quite sure how to get over there, but I'm sure I'll find a way with my legs. I would just like to say that I thought that cow right there was a gorilla. Gorillas don't exist in Australia outside of zoos, but I genuinely thought that it was a gorilla just based on how it was sitting and what it looked like. It prevented me from chucking a Yui at that turn road. But anyway, that was entertaining. It's a cow sitting in the middle of the road, chewing cud. Living its best life, I can imagine, but making my life trickier. But I think we found our spot for tonight. We ended up going for a bit more of a drive a little bit further on, just sort of seeing and testing out the water and where to go. And we went across a real dirt 4x4 track, which was pretty good. Didn't scrape the car at all once, so I'm very impressed with myself, but let this not mean that I start scraping it as I go back to our little camping spot that I like. But yeah, I think we found the spot for tonight, and hopefully we'll set up the paddle board and go for a little paddle, because I've seen some people in bathers and they look like they've had a little swim here. But yes, this, oops, let me just zoom out a little bit. This is where we will be camping for tonight. We got pick of the pasture because we're the only ones in here. So I think I'll find some shade and we'll set up there. Well, we arrived in the morning and now we're just doing some of the other final setup stuff. Yeah, I am going to sit here and look for the stand-up paddleboard adapter, because when we were in Geraldton I realised that I'd left the adapter that we have at my home at home, which is very useful there, but not so useful when it's not here. So I'm going to go for a little hunt to see if I cannot find it and find any number of other things that are out of place. So I guess just do a bit of a tidy up of this top drawer, because the top drawer is like the top drawer of your kitchen. It's the stuff drawer, the drawer that doesn't quite have a home, or the drawer for things that don't quite have a home, but at the same time it also doesn't quite not have homes for things. But it's not in my little tool bag, which I guess is a promising sign, and I'm down to one lock. I had 4. But yes, so that's that. No guarantees I'll find it, of course, but it's definitely worth Oh, look. Not to mention, this drawer is filled with dust. I finally get to go stand-up paddleboarding. I'm very, very, very excited. It's the first time this whole trip. And what a better place to do it. It's all inflated. I inflated it using my car. It would have been a lot faster to do it by hand, but it meant that I could do it hands-free and focus and worry about other things. So that was that. Stand-up paddleboarding time. Woo! We went for a really lovely paddle. I did end up convincing Jacob to come for a paddle with me. Yes. Saw a big black cow in the water. So that was fun and entertaining. Yeah, that is that. And now I'm going to look at making some dinner. Our camping spot is absolutely divine. Like, chef's kiss, beautiful. Yeah, that's kind of it. I'm gonna make 2-minute noodles with leftover chicken, which my phone is resting on, so I cannot show that to the camera. But that is what's gonna happen. And I'm also gonna have some capsicum with it as well, just for a bit of veg. Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of an easy evening. Not much going on. Are we going to be civil and eat off the table?
Don't have to.
Well,
what? It's a bowl, you can hold on to it.
True, but it might be hot.
Yeah. By the time I'm done with letting my noodles soak, they're always...
This is what the end result looks like. Super delish. Can't wait. First taste. Good food. It is now time for bed. It's only 7:50, but the sun's gone down, we've had dinner, and it's just time for bed. Sit in bed and sit up in the tent and watch the stars go down. I've also got to brush my mat of hair. But yeah, that is all. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Real Aussie Adventures. Stay adventurous.